just a second about weapons and choices in weapons. In terms of like home defense, in terms of close quarters, there are certain tools that are probably a little better suited for what you would need to do in terms of close quarters. Those, of course, being knife and tomahawk. Tomahawk, kind of a personal favorite of mine, but generally speaking, due to the fact that you not only have blade edge, but you have in your hands, if for some reason you keep, as I actually do, I keep one of these fairly close to where I sleep. I have a spiking instrument on the end, I have a spiking instrument on the end of the handle, plus I have a chopping blade, and then included a small point on the top. So if for some reason as I get up and it's dark, I am going to basically just start swinging and hacking, which is pretty much the essential of what any ugly fight actually ends up being, is whoever gets there first is going to win. Now I personally, if I'm going to use this setup, I'm going to hold my knife this way so that I may punch, I may stab backhanded, I may slash this way, plus I have my other weapon behind me as well. And let me see here, can I find a volunteer? Let's say this guy is into your house, and as he begins to attack you, you have so many weapons to use. One, you can just split him right down the middle, right? I still have this for blocking as well. I have this for slashing. I have this for hooking behind the leg, pulling his foot out from under him, and now I have his back to attack. Plus I have a spike right here that I may use as well. Plus we also have, as usual, our sansoo kicking tools to help us as well. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about weapon on weapon, okay? Now in terms of him attacking, if he is in your house and he is just a knife-wielding burglar type of individual, and you are able to retain your two weapons, there really is no reason without a doubt that you shouldn't have not only chopped them up into little tiny pieces fairly quickly, but at the same token you should be able to fairly much avoid injury as you have various ways to trap and to catch. Like right here, I've made a hook here, plus I have the blade here. I may come under here, I have this to catch his knife hand, plus I'm here. All right, I am not a person that's been in an absent number of street fights or knife fights, but once again, just like as all sansoo, you're basically just going to come in and attack. Right? If for some reason, while you split his head open, he pokes you one time, chances are you will probably recover from this. This may not even actually get there with any force because of what this is going to do. So once we are here, we slice, and we begin to slice and dice, as my friends in the Marine Corps say. So anyways, and then also let's don't forget that, you know, along with weapons, you also have your as usual, your kicking tools, right? So if you're here and the knife's coming from the outside, now I'm inside, and once again I can begin to chop, elbowing, spiking with this, slashing, splitting the head open, coming up using a knee to the groin, and then an elbow to the face. All kinds of possibilities. One thing's for sure, never unhand your weapons. Don't do fancy tricks with them. It's like, yeah, all this stuff looks really cool, but if I happen to drop this thing and I'm down to one weapon, right? Don't ever turn loose of your weapons. When weapon is in hand, don't try to be all Mr. Cool like you see the guys in the martial arts movies do with the butterfly knives, where they're like flipping that thing around. Put your weapons in your hands. Don't overgrip so that you cut off blood. You want to keep the muscle fairly well oxygenated. So you want to grip it kind of like a tube of toothpaste. Firm, but not with like a death grip. Because if at all else fails, and I happen to stick this in him, and it gets hung up a little bit, well, if I have to, I'll let it go, and I'll just go back to my tomahawk. I'll get it back later. So once again, like I said, say somebody's in your house, you don't know what he's armed with. We will say at this point he is armed with a gun, okay? All you have is this. Well, at the given point where you know that you have to do something and it's got to be done right now, you're going to get up. Even if he pulls a gun out and shoots you, you need to go ahead and sync your weapons and let fate take its course. All you can do is the best that you can do, and let nature take its course. So if he has come and it happens to be that you weren't quite quick enough and the shot got off, but once again, once I see the hand behind his back, if he's in my house, I got no reason to give him any quarter anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and split him open as soon as I see him, because he doesn't belong in my house. So I'll split him, slice him open, hook a leg, and take him down, and then finish him up on the ground. Once again, like I said, a lot of people like all different types of weapons. Personally, I find these two to be probably the best in terms of combination, because once I am in on somebody, I can do all kinds of things with them. I can hook stuff out of the way with them. I can do all kinds of unpleasant things with either end, spiking, blunt force trauma, cutting, slicing, sinking this into a rib, hooking up inside of a rib, hooking underneath the groin. I don't think any of us would enjoy that very much. And once again, like I said, always, if you come after the head, whatever he's thinking about is going to be interrupted. Because if he doesn't see this coming, this is not going to hurt very much. This is going to, of course, finish him. Yeah, right. So anyways, like I said, if we are in close quarters, certain weapons wouldn't be very effective. I'll use, for example, the asp or a sword. Because at the length of it, to get anything of effectiveness, if you're drawing it from something, say you're drawing it from the sheath, you're going to have to get a pretty long draw to get your weapon out to make a good use of it, even if you were a sword master. If you could slice and cut in the same motion inside of a little hallway, you would have probably, if nothing else, hung your weapon up in something, because if I'm working in a space the size of the doorway trying to use a sword, it's not going to work so well. It would be the same thing as if he had, let's grab a staff. So, once again, we'll say at this point he has got a staff, right? And he's fairly proficient with the staff. But once I am, and then once again, I can hook this thing, throw this thing out of the way, and at this point his staff is going to be useless because of the length of it. Not to mention, like I said, now I'm already here. I've got my striking tools, which are much shorter, designed for striking in nice and close. There's no way he's going to get to use this staff very effectively without getting cut really badly. Now, if the distance we were talking about was this far, then he would have a slightly greater chance. But once again, if I step in, I got to step in and attack, right? As always, step in and get your business done. But as far as close quarters go, there's nothing that's really going to top these two weapons. That's why you see so many criminals and gangsters these days carrying knives, because you get in a little trouble for them, but not nearly as much as a handgun. Actually, there are some people I know who actually carry a version of the Tomahawk or a hatchet, because these things are not really looked out as much as a weapon as a blade with a longer than 4 inches, I believe it is, to become a felony. So once again, just a little thought on weapons and choices, maybe things you might want to keep close at home, so that way you have something that is handy and is very good in close quarters and in the dark. Because like I said, if you're a person that uses firearms and you pick up a pistol and you start squeezing off shots, who knows where they may go. If I am using a shotgun, that's probably going to be your best solution, but short of that, close range weapons, nothing's going to top the tomahawk and the knife. And shall we say, a few of my ancestors go back, we really love these things, and there's just nothing that's better than, like they say, when you pick up the tomahawk to stain with blood. That's what it's about. Look at him, he already got scalpels.